Nobody knows just how big of a player Yamato will be in Wano. Obviously, Yamato can help Luffy take down Kaido. Then of course there's the fact that Yamato read Oden's journal. But there is still so much more that he can do for the story. For example, what would it mean if the biggest fan of Oden met his son Momonosuke? Yamato could help build up Momo since he knows so much about Oden. But looking forward, Yamato is also a vital part in Wano's safety. When this raid is over, the world government will want to make a move in Wano. So one can only imagine how Yamato might help to prevent a hostile takeover. In this discussion, I'm going to explain how Yamato can help Luffy, help Momonosuke mature into a proper leader, and protect Wano from the world government. Before I get started, make sure to comment with your thoughts on Yamato's role in Wano. I'll pick my favorite and share it as comment of the week in the next discussion. This week's comment comes from Ronald Tran. Thank you, Ronald, for the awesome feedback. If you'd like more One Piece discussions like this every week, then make sure to subscribe so you can follow along with each week's video. With that out of the way, let's look at the different ways Yamato can help Luffy. Just to quickly recap last week's video, Yamato knows that a fated figure will open up Wano because he read Oden's journal and believes in his dream. Yamato also seems to have waited for Luffy because Ace convinced him Luffy would come to Wano. Like with Tama, Ace helped set the stage for Luffy so that he would get help from Yamato before the two even met. But this is only the beginning. Yamato seems convinced that Luffy is the one to beat Kaido, so that means Yamato wants to help Luffy as much as possible. So this begs the question, how exactly can Yamato help Luffy? Well, for starters, Yamato can help Luffy maneuver through Onigashima. Not that he needs it, of course. What? You think Luffy is a big old klutz like Zoro? Listen here. Luffy can be sneaky Luffy when he chooses to do so. Need I remind you that Luffy is a better ninja than even Naruto? Despite his sneaky skills, it's still very easy to get lost on Onigashima. It's easy to look at Onigashima and go, okay, big horny muffin. Seems easy enough. But obviously there's more to this horny muffin than meets the eye. There's the underground tunnel that even Kanjuro had trouble navigating, the attic that Yamato snuck Luffy into, and just the sheer number of pathways that seem to lead to a bunch of different places. Plus, on top of all that, there are hundreds of grunts waiting to fight Luffy and tire him out. Thankfully, Yamato seems to know his way around Onigashima. He's managed to elude the Tobiropo so far, and he even managed to sneak away Luffy. So, like any great Dark Souls player, Yamato can help Luffy avoid the mobs and just skip right to the big bad boss. So Yamato can help Luffy skip to Kaido and not waste his strength. But is that it? Well, Yamato can also give Luffy some insight on how to beat Kaido. And I know, it seems like cheating to get this kind of insider information. But let's just be clear about this. The Straw Hats aren't exactly strangers when it comes to the idea of using cheat codes. Plus, there's plenty that we don't even know about Kaido and how he fights yet. We've seen him in his dragon form, but we all know the trouble will be when Kaido finally reveals his hybrid form. Now let's just take a second to think about this. Kaido beat Luffy with just one blow in his base form. When Kaido fights in his hybrid form, the odds are going to be severely stacked against Luffy. We don't know the results of Luffy's training yet, but I doubt they were so drastic that he suddenly has what it takes to confidently fight hybrid Kaido. But if Yamato can help Luffy understand how Kaido fights and show him Kaido's techniques, that can be what gives Luffy the edge in the fight. From what we've seen so far, Yamato seems to have a pretty good understanding of Kaido's fighting style. Yamato can tell Luffy how Kaido uses his devil fruit, what its potential weaknesses might be, and even just ways to beat his more basic moves. Let's also not forget about Luffy's advanced observation haki. With this help from Yamato, Luffy can see into the future and predict Kaido's moves because he would know what to expect. As you can see, Yamato has a lot of potential to give Luffy an edge in the fight against Kaido. But there's also a lot of potential between Yamato and Momonosuke. I mean, besides what will probably be the world's strangest father-son reunion ever. Momonosuke is in a tough spot right now where he has all of these expectations on him, but he's still just a kid. And this is even worse than someone like Vivi. Vivi always had a great sense of responsibility for her country, but even at a young age she could already act like a leader. Momo is different. He has all of this pressure on him to live up to Oden's legend. Right now, all of the samurai want to protect Momo, but Momo doesn't want to be a liability. He just wants to lead them like his father did. The problem though is that he has no idea how he can ever live up to Oden's legacy. We see this after Luffy beats Babanuki and Momo is faced with all of the Udon prisoners. He suddenly understands the hope that the Kozuki clan gives them. He realizes what he means to his people, but doesn't know how to live up to these expectations. This is where Yamato can help. Yamato read Oden's journal and knows a lot about him that even we don't know. And you know exactly what Yamato would tell Momo. Just be yourself. Oden was great because he lived by his own rules and explored everything the world had to offer. He didn't try to live according to his father's expectations. This is what Yamato would tell Momo. And in a way, Luffy has already done the same thing. Everyone treats Momo like a kid, but Luffy treats him like a grown person. Kinemon and the other retainers were all seeing him as the son of Oden, but Luffy sees him as Momonosuke. And this is what Yamato needs to tell Momo. He needs to stop trying to be like his father and start living his own life. Which of course is incredibly ironic coming from the person trying to literally become Oden. But you get the picture. By doing so, hopefully Momo can listen to his own voice and become the leader he wants to be. Finally, assuming the Alliance beats Kaido, there's the question of what happens to Wano's safety. Before Luffy beat him, Doflamingo was the middleman between the world government and Wano. Kaido and Orochi dealt with Doflamingo, and he dealt with the world government as a legitimate power. After they lost Doflamingo, they had to start negotiating directly with Orochi. But if they learn that Kaido and Orochi are out of the picture, they're gonna make a move. They want Wano's weapons and its sea stone. Without Kaido to worry about, they can send in Lucci and CP-0 and snag whatever they need. And we also have to consider the fact that Wano is in a unique situation as a country. With the exception of Skypiea, the islands Luffy saved were already tied to the world government. Alabasta and Dressrosa were islands already connected to the world government before Luffy came along. Wano, however, will be vulnerable to a hostile takeover if the beast pirates are suddenly kicked out. The country as a whole will be exhausted, so CP-0 can move in and take a select few key locations in no time. But if the beast pirates were to stick around, then this wouldn't be so easy. This is why I think Yamato should stay and lead the beast pirates in Wano after the raid. Yamato wants to open up Wano, but likely knows from Oden's journal that the world government would only use Wano like Kaido. Now, to be clear, the reason the world government has been hesitant so far is because they didn't want to fight a war with Kaido. This means that Yamato would need to keep the same threat level as Kaido. And it's pretty hard to measure how likely that kind of thing is so early in the game. We just don't know enough about what Yamato is actually capable of. But after Luffy beats Kaido, it's possible that Yamato could take over as captain of the Beast Pirates. Think about it. Hundreds of people under Kaido won't want to suddenly leave or get thrown in jail. Faced with the choice to leave Wano or serve Yamato and protect it, those hundreds of grunts will likely want to side with Yamato. This way, Yamato can sustain Kaido's army and serve whoever becomes the next shogun of Wano. Wano can be free from tyranny but still have the protection of the Beast Pirates. Now, I say that Yamato will serve a shogun, assuming the people would rather serve a Kozuki member rather than the son of Kaido. But who knows? It's entirely possible that Yamato does something so heroic that all of Wano decides to make him shogun. Regardless, the combined forces of Wano's samurai and the hundreds of beast pirates could make up for Kaido's absence. But even then, it's still hard to tell if this would be enough to intimidate the world government. If I had to guess, I'd bet that an alliance between the beast pirates and the next shogun would at least be enough to keep them out of Wano and avoid an all-out war. But then there's still the question of CP-0, and it's really tough to say exactly what they would do if Yamato and the Shogun teamed up. You could compare this to when CP-9 tried to steal the plans for Pluton. In that case, Lucci and his crew just wanted to take the plans and get out once they were done. Here, it's not as simple. CP-0 could steal weapons and resources, but it's not as simple as sneaking away with just blueprints. Moving all of those weapons and resources is a major operation that you can't just do in one swift go. With this kind of obstacle, the world government will likely stay out of Wano to avoid starting an all-out war and wasting the resources it already has. As we can see, Yamato is a major asset to Wano. He can help Luffy's fight, build Momonosuke into a proper leader, and best of all, lead the Beast Pirates under the next shogun to help preserve Wano's sovereignty. And that's it for this discussion. Hopefully we get an idea of Yamato's plan in the next chapter. If you enjoyed this discussion, then make sure to like the video. If you'd like more One Piece discussions like this one, then subscribe to the channel so you can follow along with weekly videos. Thank you for watching, and I hope to hear from you soon.